ready to explore the world?
What?
With confidence, we're taking a deep dive into travel vocabulary.
Oh, yeah.
Which is perfect for navigating airports, train stations, and even bustling marketplaces in a new city.
Uh-huh.
And get this, our source material is another podcast.
Oh, fine.
Kind of a deep dive within a deep dive.
Podcasts are such a great way to learn, aren't they?
Exactly.
It's like having a conversation with experts right in your ear.
The podcast we're diving into is called Do You Know? And they have a fantastic episode.
Okay.
All about transportation and travel terms.
Cool.
They really nail that feeling of excitement you get when planning a trip. You know, that sense of adventure and anticipation.
And what they highlight so well is that knowing specific travel terms can really enhance your experience.
Yeah.
Even for seasoned globetrotters.
Yeah, for sure.
It's about more than just getting from point A to point B. It's about unlocking smoother, richer travel experiences.
Okay, so let's unpack their wisdom.
Okay.
Starting with air travel. So you've booked your flights. You're practically smelling that delicious airplane coffee. But have you ever thought about how to describe a missed connection in another language?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Or how to ask about an upgrade at the check-in counter?
Yeah.
That's where knowing specific vocabulary can make all the difference.
That's true.
Instead of fumbling through a translation app,
Right?
you can confidently communicate your needs and maybe even score that coveted upgrade.
Yeah, you're not at the mercy of fate or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You can really take control.
The Do You Know podcast even delves into the nuances of layovers.
Okay.
We all know they can be a drag, but they actually point out that sometimes a well-planned layover can turn into a mini adventure, a chance to explore a new city for a few hours.
I love that perspective.
Right.
Layovers don't have to be dreaded. They can be opportunities.
Yeah.
And knowing how to navigate airports efficiently can maximize that time for a quick city tour.
Totally. And speaking of navigating airports, they have a great tip about using airport lounge access.
Oh, yes.
Many travelers overlook this perk.
Yeah, especially if they haven't flown much.
Right.
But it can be an oasis of calm amidst the chaos.
Oh, totally. Almost like a little
It really is.
sanctuary.
Yeah.
So knowing how to inquire about lounge access, understanding the different types of lounges, and even using the right phrases to ask for assistance can transform your airport experience.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's shift gears.
Okay.
From the skies to the open road, covers the whole spectrum of land travel.
Yeah.
From hopping on a local bus to embarking on an epic cross-country road trip.
That's great.
They emphasize the importance of understanding road signs, especially in countries with different languages or symbols.
That's such a crucial point.
Yeah.
Misinterpreting a road sign can lead to detours, delays, or even dangerous situations.
Yeah.
And sometimes knowing the local terms for things like gas station or rest stop can be a lifesaver.
Totally. They also highlight the difference between a commute and a journey.
Interesting.
A commute is that daily grind, that routine trip to work or school.
Yeah.
But a journey implies a sense of purpose, a deliberate exploration.
That distinction really resonates with me.
Yeah.
And I think for our listener who's clearly interested in language and travel,
Right.
understanding those nuances can add depth to their experiences.
Totally. And speaking of journeys, they share some fantastic advice about toll roads.
Uh-oh.
Those unexpected fees can really throw off your budget.
For sure.
Especially if you're not prepared. So they recommend researching toll roads in advance.
Yeah.
Especially if you're driving in a foreign country.
And having local currency on hand can be a lifesaver.
Oh, yeah.
Because not all toll booths accept credit cards. I learned that the hard way once stuck in a toll booth in rural Italy with only euros in my wallet.
Oh, no.
You know, back before.
That's a travel story for the ages.
Yeah, when we had to.
Okay, let's move on to trains.
All right.
A personal favorite of mine. Do you know? Delves into the intricacies of train travel.
Yeah.
From understanding different types of trains to navigating complex train stations.
Oh, yeah?
They even cover terms like gauge,
Okay.
which refers to the width of the tracks,
Cool.
and sleeper car, which can be a game changer for overnight journeys.
Yeah, I love a sleeper car.
Right.
Knowing these terms can help you make informed decisions when booking your tickets.
For sure. They also emphasize the importance of knowing the local terms for platform, track, and departure.
Right.
Especially in bustling train stations where announcements might not be clear or in your language.
For sure.
Imagine yourself Confidently navigating a train station in Tokyo or Paris,
Okay.
knowing exactly where to go and when.
It's about that feeling of empowerment that language can provide. You're
Yeah.
not just a passive traveler.
Yeah.
You're actively engaging with your surroundings.
Totally. All right. From the rhythm of train tracks, let's set sail towards seafaring adventures.
Ah, the call of the open ocean. It's a completely different travel experience, and do you know, captures that sense of wonder beautifully.
They actually differentiate between ferry and cruise ship,
Okay.
which might seem obvious, but understanding those nuances can help you choose the right type of sea travel for your needs.
Yeah,
A ferry might be perfect for a quick island hop,
right.
while a cruise ship offers a more immersive, all-inclusive experience.
And they don't just cover the practical aspects, they also delve into the romance of sea travel.
Right.
They talk about watching sunsets from the deck,
Ah.
feeling the ocean breeze, and enjoying the unique onboard activities.
Speaking of deck activities,
Yeah.
they mention shuffleboard, which immediately conjures up images of leisurely afternoons at sea.
It's a classic pastime, isn't it?
It is.
And knowing how to ask, would you like to play a game of shuffleboard, can be a great way to connect with fellow travelers.
Totally. Okay, before we wrap up part one of this deep dive,
Okay.
let's move on to some universal travel phrases. These are like linguistic Swiss Army knives, essential for smooth sailing no matter where you are in the world.
These are the phrases that can bridge language barriers
Mm-hmm.
and help you connect with people on a human level.
Absolutely. Do you know? Also suggests learning how to say please and thank you in various situations.
Okay.
Again, it might seem basic, but they point out that different cultures have different levels of formality when it comes to politeness. Knowing those nuances can help you avoid unintentional faux pas.
For example, in some cultures, it's considered rude to point with your index finger.
Oh,
Instead, you might use your whole hand or a gesture with your chin.
interesting.
These are subtle but important cultural cues that language can help us understand.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
Yeah, we have.
We've explored air, land, and sea travel, and even delved into the power of universal phrases and nonverbal communication.
That's right.
But our linguistic journey doesn't end there. Stay tuned for part two, where we'll uncover even more phrases and tips to help you navigate the world with confidence and grace.
Until then, start practicing those phrases and imagine yourself using them on your next adventure.
Yeah,
You might be surprised how much smoother and richer your travel experiences become.
totally. Welcome back to our deep dive into travel vocabulary.
Back again.
In the last part, we unpacked some essential terms for air, land, and sea travel,
Yeah.
and even touched on the importance of those universal phrases we often take for granted.
It's easy to forget
Right.
how powerful those little words can be.
But as do you know, emphasizes there's so much more to discover about the nuances of language and how it can enrich our travel experiences.
What's fascinating is how specific phrases can not only help us navigate practical situations,
Right.
but also open doors to deeper cultural understanding and connection with locals.
Totally.
It's like having a secret code that unlocks a whole new level of travel.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond the transactional and into the realm of genuine interaction.
Right.
And do you know? Provide some great examples of phrases that can help us do just that.
Okay, cool.
They highlight the importance of learning how to say hello and goodbye in the local language.
Right.
It seems simple,
It does.
but it shows respect and a willingness to engage with the culture.
It's a way of saying, I see you, I acknowledge your customs, and I'm making an effort to connect with you.
Mm-hmm.
Even if your pronunciation isn't perfect, the gesture itself speaks volumes.
I remember once trying to greet a shopkeeper in Mandarin while traveling through China.
Oh, wow.
My pronunciation was probably butchered, but the shopkeeper's face lit up with a huge smile.
That's so sweet.
That simple exchange completely changed the energy of our interaction.
It's those small moments of connection that can really make a trip memorable, isn't it?
For sure.
And it builds confidence to try more phrases and delve deeper into the language.
Absolutely. Do you know?
Mhm.
Also suggests learning how to say please and thank you in various situations.
Mhm.
Again, it might seem basic, but they point out that different cultures have different levels of formality when it comes to politeness.
Right.
Knowing those nuances can help you avoid unintentional faux pas.
For example, in some cultures, it's considered rude to point with your index finger.
Oh, interesting.
Instead, you might use your whole hand or a gesture with your chin.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
These are subtle but important cultural cues that language can help us understand.
They also highlight the power of learning a few simple phrases related to food.
Ooh, fun.
Imagine yourself in a bustling street market, surrounded by delicious smells and unfamiliar dishes.
Mhm.
Knowing how to ask, "What is this?" or "Can I try a sample?" can open up a whole world of culinary adventures.
And it's not just about the food itself. It's about connecting with the vendors, learning about their traditions, and maybe even discovering a new favorite dish.
Totally.
Food is such a universal language,
It is.
and knowing a few key phrases can make those experiences even richer.
They also talk about the importance of learning how to ask for directions.
Okay.
Now, in today's world of GPS and map apps,
Right.
you might think this is less relevant.
Right.
But what happens if your phone battery dies or you're in an area with limited connectivity?
That's when knowing how to ask where is or how do I get to in the local language becomes essential.
Mm-hmm.
And it can often lead to more serendipitous encounters.
Yeah.
Locals might point you to a hidden gem or offer a shortcut that your map app wouldn't know about.
I love that idea of embracing those unplanned detours.
Me too.
It's often in those moments that we discover the true spirit of a place,
Absolutely.
you know? Also reminds us that sometimes we need to express ourselves beyond basic needs.
Okay.
They suggest learning phrases related to emotions and opinions,
Oh, cool.
such as, "I like this," or "This is beautiful."
That makes sense.
It allows you to move beyond the transactional and into the realm of sharing your experiences and connecting with people on a more personal level.
Yeah.
Imagine standing in front of a breathtaking sunset and being able to express your awe in the local language.
Yeah.
It can deepen your appreciation and create a lasting memory.
Absolutely. It's about going beyond the superficial and engaging with the heart of a place.
They also touch on the importance of learning how to apologize.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Even if you've unintentionally committed a cultural faux pas,
Of course.
a simple "I'm sorry" can go a long way in smoothing over any awkwardness.
It shows humility and a willingness to learn from our mistakes,
Right.
and it can often turn a potentially negative experience into a positive one.
Do you know, even delves into the realm of humor.
Oh, fun.
They encourage listeners to learn a few funny phrases or jokes in the local language.
Oh, that's cool.
Humor can be a powerful tool for breaking down barriers and forming connections.
It's a way of showing that you don't take yourself too seriously and that you're open to embracing the quirks and nuances of another culture.
Right.
Imagine sharing a laugh with a local over a language mishap.
Yeah.
It can create a bond that transcends words.
Now let's talk about a topic that's particularly relevant for our listener.
Okay.
Language learning resources.
Oh, cool.
Highlights the abundance of apps, online courses, and even podcasts
Yeah,
designed specifically for travelers.
those are great.
These resources make it easier than ever to learn a new language, even if you only have a short amount of time before your trip.
Right.
You can learn on the go, practice your pronunciation, and even access interactive exercises.
And you don't have to be like a tech whiz to use them.
No,
They're designed to be pretty user-friendly.
totally. They even suggest finding language exchange partners online or in your local community.
Oh, that's fun.
This is a fantastic way to practice your conversational skills, get feedback on your pronunciation,
Mhm.
and even make new friends from different cultures.
It's a win-win situation. You get to improve your language skills, and your partner gets to learn about your culture in return.
Right.
It's a beautiful example of reciprocal learning.
Do you know how you know?
Yeah.
Also emphasizes the importance of immersing yourself in the language as much as possible while traveling.
Yeah.
This could mean listening to local music, watching films with subtitles, or even reading simple books or articles in the language you're learning.
Right. The more you expose yourself to the language, the more natural it will become.
Yeah.
It's like training your ear to recognize the sounds and your brain to process the grammar. You'll start picking up new vocabulary without even realizing it.
They even suggest bringing a small notebook and jotting down new words or phrases that you encounter.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
This is a great way to create a personalized language journal that you can refer back to even after your trip is over.
It's a tangible reminder of your language learning journey and a testament to your commitment to expanding your linguistic horizons.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive.
FF.
We've explored phrases related to greetings, politeness, food directions, emotions, apologies, humor, and even language learning resources.
Wow, that's a lot.
But our linguistic adventure continues. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll wrap up our exploration of essential travel vocabulary and leave you with some inspiring tips to continue your language learning journey.
Until then, keep practicing those phrases and imagine yourself using them confidently and gracefully on your next adventure.
Yes.
The world is waiting to be explored, and language is the key that unlocks its many wonders.
Welcome back. We're wrapping up our deep dive into travel vocabulary, and honestly, I'm feeling so energized by all the practical tips and inspiring ideas we've unpacked.
Yeah, it's amazing how much power language holds, isn't it? It's not just about words, but about connecting with cultures, navigating new experiences, and even shaping the way we see the world.
Exactly, and our source podcast, Do You Know, really drove that point home. They remind us that learning a new language doesn't have to be this daunting academic pursuit.
Mm.
It can be fun, engaging, and woven into the very fabric of our travel adventures.
They actually suggest thinking of language learning as a kind of treasure hunt.
Oh, fun.
Each new phrase you discover each time you successfully communicate an idea, it's like finding a hidden gem, and those gems can enrich your travels in unexpected ways.
I love that analogy. It takes the pressure off perfection and turns language learning into a playful exploratory process, you know. Also highlighted something that really resonated with me, the idea that language can be a gateway to deeper empathy and understanding.
It's true. When you make the effort to learn even a few phrases in another language, you're not just communicating, you're demonstrating respect for that culture and a willingness to see the world from a different perspective.
They shared a story about a traveler who learned how to ask, "What's your story?" in the local language. And by asking that simple question, they unlocked incredible conversations and connections with people they met along the way.
It's a reminder that travel is about more than just ticking off destinations on a list. It's about engaging with the people, the stories and the cultures that make each place unique, and language is the bridge that connects us to those experiences.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways our listener can walk away with? For me, it's that language learning is an ongoing journey, not a destination.
Absolutely. It's about embracing the process, being open to making mistakes and finding joy in those aha moments when you successfully communicate an idea or understand something new.
Do you know? Encourage listeners to find what motivates them to learn. Maybe it's the thrill of navigating a foreign city with confidence, the desire to connect with locals on a deeper level, or simply the joy of expanding your mental horizons.
And there are so many resources available now, from language learning apps to online courses, even podcasts like the one we explored today. The key is to find what works best for you and to integrate language learning into your daily life, even if it's just for a few minutes each day.
They also suggested setting realistic goals. Don't try to learn an entire language overnight. Start with a few basic phrases, focus on the topics that interest you most, and celebrate those small victories along the way.
And remember, fluency isn't the only goal. Even a basic understanding of another language can enrich your travel experiences, open up new possibilities, and broaden your understanding of the world.
So here's what I'm curious about. What travel experience are you, dear listener, most excited to have with your newfound language skills? Imagine yourself confidently ordering a meal in a bustling Parisian cafe, asking for directions in a vibrant market in Marrakesh, or even just sharing a laugh with a local over a language mishap.
The world is full of incredible adventures waiting to be discovered. And with a little bit of language, those adventures become even richer, more meaningful, and more memorable. So go forth, explore, and let language be your guide.
Safe travels, fellow adventurer.